Hey everyone, this is Bad 5. I haven't done a video in a very long time, and I apologize for that. I mean, after the Trump victory, I just haven't been really motivated to do videos. I've tried to do a few, and they just, every time I watch, I'm just like, is that really what I wanted to say? Things like that. I mean, honestly, I just really need to start doing this thing where I just rant. It seems like that's what the majority of people liked. I apologize if my camera's fucked up. I haven't had the motivation to go out and get one. Because I haven't been making videos. I've been doing other projects, and I've mentioned in the past that I was, working on a Ghostbusters Proton Pack, and I might do a video. I'm pretty close to getting that done, so I might just wait until I finish it, and then just do a video showing everything in its, full glory and all of that. So anyway, let's just go ahead and get started. Since I mentioned Trump, my last video, a lot of people, I wouldn't say a lot. I mean, it didn't get a lot of views, but I don't get a lot of views as it is, which, I mean, that's just par for the course with me. I have a small channel, but it seemed like a lot of people took exception to what I said. Now, it's been a while since Trump's, taken office and all this, and, I mean, honestly, it's a fucking disappointment, I think, for everyone. And there are many people who are like, I regret voting for him, but to me, it's like, why would you have thought that he was going to be able to do all this? He's a salesman. That's all he's been. That's all he's ever been. He's never been some smart business savvy guy, because a lot of people say he's very successful. No, he isn't. He sells himself. That's it. That's the only thing he's successful at. He can sell himself. That's it. I'm Donald Trump. I am so smart. I am a smart businessman. No, he isn't. Okay, and in fact, it's been said, and how true this is, I don't know, but I've looked into it a bit, and it seems like the numbers don't lie here. Had he just taken his father's inheritance that, he was given, and he just worked a normal bit. I mean, because, the guy knows how to sell himself. I can't take that away from him. He knows what the hell he's doing when it comes to saying he's successful. He just become a CEO, just run some company, done something of this, something like this. He didn't touch any of his inheritance, he'd be worth way more today. Now, to me, there's a casino right down the street from me. And if I walked in there with $20,000 and I walked out with 15,000, like, I lost a bunch, I won some, and I walked out saying, I'm so successful. Does that really make any sense? No. He's worth less than he would be. So, in other words, he's not really that successful. Again, he just knows how to sell himself. Yeah, I'm going to be drinking on this one, and I don't think I'm going to edit anything out. But the more I see after the election, because, again, I think I mentioned this in the last video, we saw all these people, even on election day, like, oh, fuck Hillary, man. Fuck Hillary. Jill Steiner. I'm writing Bernie Sanders' name, man. Oh, good for you. And then once your protest vote does nothing, what's going to happen then? Well, you see some people like, maybe they just screwed Bernie out of the nomination. No, they didn't. They didn't. Okay? They didn't. Maybe he should just join the Democratic Party and maybe get some change in there. Maybe he could go further. And, I mean, now he's a household name, but in 4 years, he's going to be too old, I think. But, I mean, honestly, he could have just joined the party decades ago and really made some good changes. Now, some people say, that compromises his integrity, something like that. No, maybe that's true. That I don't know. But, I mean, honestly, how would that compromise his integrity? He's a liberal. There are plenty of, very liberal people in the Democratic Party. There used to be some somewhat liberal people in the Republican Party, but they've made it clear that they don't want any kind of liberals in the party anymore. They don't want moderates. They want very hard right people. The Democrats are welcoming of, moderates, even some people who are conservative to a certain extent, and then also ultra liberals. Hey, you want to be a Democrat? Cool. Okay, let's work together. And in fact, Hillary made concessions to that. She saw that Bernie was getting a lot of support. So they made changes to the platform. And I think that was cool. To me, that showed that she was actually paying attention. But, of course, the people, she's screwed. They didn't want him to get it. How did you find that out? Leaked emails? You mean it was in private? They were talking about how they didn't want him to get the nomination in private. So you were getting leaked information saying that they didn't want him to get the nomination. Leaked information. They weren't going out in public saying, fuck this guy. Fuck him. No, they were willing to give him the chance. If he had gotten it, they would have thrown all their support behind him. Don't you think? I'm pretty sure they would have. Especially since Trump got the nomination. Anyone who knows politics in this country knew how dangerous he was. Because he's a fucking idiot. And I still see a lot of people, to this day, trying to say that he's fulfilling his promises. Okay, well, he said he was under audit, which, I mean, he never proved that. He was going to release his taxes as soon as the audit was over. Well, he paid his taxes, and he won. He won the election, so what does it matter now? Well, it matters because I want to see what kind of fucking money he has. And there was the 2005 releases, which some people suspect that he actually released those. He leaked those to the press. But, I mean, the thing is, I mean, some people say, why would he have done that? I don't know. I mean, why wouldn't it have been more recent? So, for him to say, like, oh, crooked Hillary, she has this, which, by the way, the whole crooked Hillary thing, they released their taxes back to, like, the 70s. It's out there, if you want to see it, which, by the way, the IRS, they even confirmed, there's nothing stopping him from releasing it. Even if he's under audit, he can do that. But also, he made all these claims against, the Clinton Foundation, even though watchdog groups have said, no, the Clinton Foundation is actually very good. And, they try to say, well, a lot of that is overhead. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. They have plenty of money. They don't need it. And they acknowledge this. Even though Trump, I mean, he loves money. That's one of the things about him. He loves money. That's it. He dropped out of the last presidential primary because NBC wanted to give him $250,000 to do another season of The Apprentice. He said, no one could turn down that kind of money. Bullshit. Jerry Seinfeld turned down more than that per episode, not a season. But, whatever. So, she's crooked. Okay, well, release your shit, and we'll see if you're crooked or not. Maybe he's not. I'm not going to say he is or he isn't. I don't know. I have no evidence for or against that claim. So, I can just say, well, he could just, dispel a lot of these rumors by releasing his taxes. Why doesn't he do that? What is he scared of? Maybe he's not worth as much as he says he is. Maybe he's not a multi-billionaire. Maybe he does have ties to Russia, and we should know about that. If Russia did have some kind of hand in tampering with our elections, we should know this. And why people act like, oh, that's fake news, because that's something that he said, oh, CNN, you're fake news. Of course, yeah, they're fake news. They present you in a less than stellar light. It's fake news. Okay, we'll prove them wrong. They say, okay, well, here's what our sources are saying. So we say the evidence backs us up. Oh, that's fake. Okay. How is it fake? Can you prove that it's fake? Or do you just not give a fuck? Because I really think that's what it is. He doesn't give a fuck. He just says it, and his supporters, they just lap that shit up. They say, oh, yeah, that's fake news. If it's something against Donald Trump, it's fake. So he was 100% right in saying that his supporters, like, he can go out and shoot somebody, he wouldn't lose their support. And that blows my fucking mind. And, I mean, conservatives and liberals, they're all idiots. I'm not saying every individual one is, but as a group, they're idiots. And what I mean is this. Liberals are a bit too proud. They're a bit too motivated by their own integrity and emotion to, just say, you know what? When it comes down to it, it's a two-party system. I'd much rather have the better candidate. The Democrats, I don't always agree with them, but I definitely agree with Hillary Clinton more. They don't say that. No, they say, well, I'm going to vote third party, or I'm not going to vote. And then when bad shit happens, they just kind of look like, well, I didn't know this was going to happen. Shut the fuck up. And the reason I say that is because of this. Not the swig, but this. The fact is this. Liberals knew. They knew Hillary Clinton was going to win. How could she not win? It's Donald fucking Trump. How could he win the presidency? Now, I'm not like that. I'm a pessimist, so I always say, you know what? If something bad can happen, it probably will. They knew she was going to win. So, whenever she did something they didn't like, they could just say, I didn't vote for her. I wrote in Bernie Sanders, or I voted Jill Steiner, or I didn't vote at all. Anything like that. They could just use that. They could fall back on that and say, I didn't support that. So don't blame me. Which I don't understand this whole, like, don't blame me. It's like, no, you do have some blame in this, okay? I mean, are you involved at all politically? Or do you just vote every 4 years in the presidential election? And, I mean, for the people who are, like, 18, first time they got to vote, okay, sure, I understand. You're all full of piss and vinegar about this. And, you're trying to get involved. Okay, sure. But since a lot of liberals just didn't come out and vote, now we have a Republican controlled presidency and Congress. And then now Supreme Court, even though the guy who Trump picked for the Supreme Court is a fucking idiot and whatever. So, I mean, this guy's going to be serving for quite some time. But on the opposite side of that is the conservatives. Now, conservatives, and I've said this in the past, they always vote. They vote. And, yeah, there was the Never Trump crowd, but it was very small compared to the Never Hillary crowd. Conservatives, a lot of times, are sheep. They will buy whatever they're told. And that whole fake news thing is a great example of this. And it's pathetic. Now, a lot of them are Christians, so of course, oh, well, Jesus, being a shepherd and all that shit. Not entirely. I guess it's lost on them because they like to think, I'm a free thinker. No, you're not. He says it, you believe it. There's no evidence to back you up, but you believe it. He says it. Well, I mean, Donald Trump, why would he lie to me? I mean, it's not like he lied before. I mean, he said he released his taxes. He didn't do that. He said he had a plan to defeat ISIS in 30 days. Well, I mean, we haven't seen that. Well, I mean, he said a lot of other things, like he has a healthcare plan that's going to cover all Americans and it's going to be a lot cheaper. He's never going to leave the White House because there's too much work to do. He's going to be too busy making deals. He'll rarely, if ever, take vacations. Huh. Yeah, but I mean, he hasn't lied about it. He's fulfilling all of his promises. And I've called out so many people on this shit. Speaking of calling these idiots out, the one thing is this, because I had mentioned fake media. Supposedly fake media, even though there are sources, they don't always reveal them because some of these sources are close to who they're reporting on. So they don't want their name getting out there, risking getting fired, something like this. But we'll hear a lot of these people, oh, this is fake news. And one question that never seems to be answered, that whenever I ask it, is where do you get your news from? Because you could just say, quit watching Fox News. And a lot of these people will say, I don't even watch Fox News. Right. I highly doubt that you don't watch it, but where do you get your news from? Most people, they don't answer. A couple of people said, I get it from independent sources, LOL. Which sources? That's what I want to know. Which sources? What are you... Come on, Sarah Palin. Name one. Name one. Is it Donald Trump? Or is it your idiot friends who say, Obama committed all kinds of impeachable offenses? So we should put, which most of these people, and liberals and conservatives alike, they don't seem to know what impeachment is. It doesn't mean that you remove them from office. Clinton was impeached, not removed from office. But anyway, they don't ever want to answer that. They don't want to answer it. So either they're just listening to idiots, or like if someone, level that claim against them, like, well, Fox News, they really do listen, but they want to deny it so then they can say, no, you can't attack me for that, even though they really do. Or they know it's some kind of bullshit source. They know it's something like InfoWars, which how anyone thinks InfoWars is reliable is beyond me. I used to kind of think so. I mean, my conspiracy theorist friends like, watch InfoWars. You'll learn a lot here. Which, it's funny that not only has Alex Jones... not only is he off the Trump train now, which a lot of conservatives are, like Ann Coulter, it seems, Paul Joseph Watson, a few other people, I'm off the Trump train. Well, you're a fucking idiot because, well, he's flaky as fuck like you. But then also Alex Jones, he's like, I'm honest, I do all this. I'm not going to do that voice for much longer because it kills the fuck out of my throat. But, Yeah, now it turns out his lawyers in that custody battle, like they're saying that he's a performance artist. Whatever, even though he was all about Trump, but is that a performance? But now he's bad mouthing Trump about all this shit, and I mean, honestly. But then again, we have people who are saying Trump is going to serve for 8 years, and then we're going to have Pence for 8 years, even though that's ridiculous on the face of it because Pence has no charisma. You really think that he's going to serve for 8 years? You really do? Really? But then again, Pence was using, a private email server, and I know he was following the law, he's reporting everything and all that, but it's the principle of it, since they were saying, oh, Hillary Clinton used private email. She had a server in her basement. She wasn't using the government stuff. She could, whatever. I mean, there are so many things that rattle around in my head every single fucking day. Every day, it's something new. It's some kind of bullshit. There's some kind of tie to Russia. Fucking Russia? What is this, some shitty 80s movie? I mean, goddamn it, fucking Flynn. He retroactively registered as a foreign agent, a former U.S. fucking general. Is an agent for Turkey. What? Jesus, and like I said, it's like a shitty 80s movie. Russian spies have infiltrated our government. Only 2 men are able to stop them. Sylvester Stallone as Agent Hugh G. Rection. Arnold Schwarzenegger as Dixie Normus. Starring, this summer, Trump this. I mean, what the fuck? Like, why are there so many connections to Russia? Fucking Russia, of all countries. A country that does not appreciate free speech. In fact, I just read today that they have basically called Jehovah's Witnesses like religious extremists and like dangerous and shit. What? And this is from Prof MTH. Apparently, like one of the main proponents of free speech in this country, that was the Jehovah's Witnesses, which I didn't know that, but that's pretty cool. I mean, yeah, I've had, some dealings with them, come to the door. Have you heard the good news and all this bullshit? We haven't had really any Mormons around here in Ohio, but at least not that I've dealt with, and I've talked to them. They're nice enough people. They're just trying to do their thing. It is annoying, but hey, they're not getting paid for this shit. But anyway, Russia, of all countries to ally yourself with, this country which stifles free speech. You have very few rights compared to what we have. But then again, a lot of Republicans think that that's good. Like if you're suspected of a crime, you're guilty until proven innocent. And in fact, I've had some recent dealings with that shit. But, I mean, honestly, like, why is it just every single fucking day I'm waking up to something new? Okay, well, the FBI has proof of this. And just Trump saying, Obama had my wires tapped. And then what did he say? And of course he lied. And because no one ever called him out on his bullshit because he's been surrounded by yes men his whole fucking life. And I think he is probably a psychopath where he has no regard for anyone else's feelings or anything like that. He's always gotten away with it. Why can't he get away with it now? He's president, so of course he can get away with it. Because when the president does it, it's not illegal, apparently. The wiretapping shit. He lied about that. I remember reading it January 20th in the New York Times. No, he didn't. I heard it from a great legal mind. Judge Napolitano? He's not a great legal mind. In fact, Fox, because of that shit, now he's not going to be on Fox anymore. At least not in the fucking intensity he was before, where they just had him on all the time. Where, he's some great legal expert. Which, yeah, he was a judge, but that doesn't mean he's smart. I mean, he was elected. Okay, whatever. Which, by the way, it's always funny that, he called some people so-called judge. Right, yeah, that's what it is. But this guy, a guy who's on TV, he's a great legal mind, but then there's no evidence that the Obama administration did that. The FBI, yeah, they're looking into that shit, and it turns out, yeah, there's a huge fucking trail. I mean, But, I mean, speaking of Fox News, I mentioned them earlier. I always love the fact that since I work with idiots, in the majority of this country, they're idiots. And in fact, I don't even consider myself that smart. In fact, I think I'm kind of stupid on many things. Like, certain things I can just rattle off facts, and people are, like, lost within, like, a few seconds, and I'm kind of confused as to how they're so lost. But, you know, and I hear on a fairly regular basis, you know, Dave, not everyone is as smart as you. Fuck you. All I do is look at things. I read. I try to learn things. I think I'm stupid on this, so why don't I look into it? Why don't I try to learn something? Why doesn't everyone else try to do this? Anyhow, since I work with idiots, Fox News is on at work in the break room a lot. And this is something we hear, you know, from Fox News a lot about the mainstream media. The mainstream media is wrong about Trump. They're trying to say this, so it's obvious. There's an obvious bias against them. So, let me get this straight. So Fox News is all about Trump. They love him. In fact, Trump loves Fox News because they love him. So it's, you know, a big circle jerk going on here. But Donald Trump won. We can't deny this. Like, there's no bullshit. Like, I'm not going to try to pull some conspiracy theorist bullshit about, you know, oh, no, he got fewer votes, dead people, and all this shit. I'm not Alex Jones. So I don't try to make excuses. Liberals just didn't show up. They didn't fucking care. They just decided, no, it's better to stay home. So, he won. Donald Trump won. He didn't win the popular vote. I mean, California, you know, that proved that, you know, Donald Trump lost by about, like, what was that, 3 million votes. Regardless, it's a system that's set up with the Electoral College. There's a lot of bullshit involved in that. You know, mostly the Founding Fathers thought that the average American was stupid, which, you know, good call on that one. The average American is stupid, but they should have done their jobs and said, this guy is not qualified. He shouldn't be anywhere near the fucking White House. And we're seeing that more and more. But Donald Trump won. So, what does that mean? Well, Donald Trump spews a lot of shit from Fox News. So, what does that mean? Fox News is fucking mainstream. And they're trying to argue that the mainstream media is saying this. They are the mainstream. Don't they get super high ratings? I mean, this isn't like some small fucking internet show like the Young Turks or Secular Talk, like when they first got their start on YouTube. Or me. This is mainstream shit. Oh, but the liberal media bias. Yes, because that's what it is. You know, you have sources and shit. Fox News makes errors all the time. There are plenty of channels that cover that. But they're not mainstream. No. They're not mainstream. The liberals are. I mean, what the fuck? So they brag about how many viewers they get and how their candidate won, but they're not mainstream. But then again, the people who try to argue this, I just throw out there because they're fair and balanced. Okay, how many liberals have shows on there? You can make some arguments. Chris Wallace, I mean, he's more of a moderate, but I mean, from time to time, like, yeah, he's pretty hard-hitting, and he brings up some really good points. Because even if a conservative brings up a point that is good, I give him credit. Tucker Carlson has brought up a couple of good points. I'm like, wow, you know, I didn't think about it like that. Good point. I don't necessarily agree with you, but that's a good point. Shep Smith, again, I would say he's a moderate, maybe leaning towards liberal. In fact, I'm still shocked he has his own show, because he does, you know, call people out and shit. But how many liberals have their own shows? So there are those two. Alan Colmes used to have the show. I mean, he's dead now, and he lost that show back in the day. It was Hannity and Colmes, and then it just became Hannity because, well, Hannity's a fucking right-wing moron. But they want to call it MSNBC. They're just liberal assholes. MSNBC gave Tucker Carlson his own show. It just got low ratings. I used to watch it because it's like, well, you know what? I don't agree with the guy, but he brings up some good points. Fuck it. It's on. Why not? You know, I'll listen to his viewpoint, because back then, I mean, he wasn't as bad. And Joe Scarborough has his own show, and he's had it for years now. He's a conservative. He's not, like, super right-wing conservative, but he's conservative. They gave him his own show. How many fucking liberals have shows on Fox News? None. So, there you go. This whole fair and balanced thing is stupid. But, then again, Americans, as a whole, are stupid. We see day after day after day, Trump is a fucking idiot, but we have people who still say, no, he's doing everything he said he would. Well, maybe, no. No, and don't give me that bullshit about how liberals in Congress are just blocking him. They don't even have a majority. They don't have some kind of like filibuster-proof majority. Okay? So don't give me that bullshit. And also, Trump is losing support day after day. But there are those true believers who think, oh, no, he's gonna do this. Even though everything he fucking says is a lie during the campaign. He said that he's heard numbers up to 45% of Americans are unemployed. 45 fucking percent. He thought that almost, or he just wanted to say it, just to rile people up. Almost half of the country is unemployed. And that is based on that bullshit number because, baby boomers are retiring now. But 45 fucking percent. And then these numbers come out, and I've called people out on this shit too, that, no, the unemployment rating is pretty fucking low. And Trump, oh, of course, yeah, that's because of me. I'm president, so that means I just, spread my fairy dust all over the country, and that makes things better. And we're creating new jobs. And someone tried to bring that up against me. There's a Facebook page called Liberal Tears, and I said something that this asshole tried to respond like, well, how do we have these numbers? And I had to point out, well, idiot, if you knew what the fuck you were talking about, you would know that this is an Obama fiscal year. There you go. Just like when you assholes were blaming Obama for the shitty economy in 2009, that was a Bush fiscal year. So, no, you don't get it both fucking ways. It's one or the other. So, Trump had nothing to do with this economy, and in fact, his bullshit plans, all it is a tax cut for the rich. And where have we heard that before? They used to call horse and sparrow economics back in like the late 1800s, early 1900s. And then they called it trickle-down economics. Then it was called Reaganomics. Then the Bush tax cuts. Guess what? It's never worked. Ever. Rich people getting more money does not equal everyone has more money. But then again, this is the party that convinced its fucking supporters that if we didn't have federal minimum wage laws, everyone would be making more money. If these companies if they didn't have to pay these people, because they're not talking about you, they're talking about the people who are lazy as fuck, even though the majority of people who I know that are super Republican, they're not hard workers. I work way harder than they do, just because I feel bad if I don't work hard. I want to earn my paycheck. But the majority of these fuckers, they want to sit there and bitch and cry about how they don't get paid enough and, they just want to fuck me. Well, no, I don't think of it as that. They want work because they're paying us fairly well. I mean, I make decent money. My wife and I make pretty good money. I mean, I have enough money to blow on just random shit like spending a few $1,000s on Ghostbusters shit within a year. But anyway, I mean, it blows my mind that I have to sit there and think about this shit and get madder and madder and madder about it because, I mean, why are we so stupid in this country? Why is it that we had a guy who did a pretty good job, Obama? He wasn't perfect, no president is. And then we had Hillary Clinton, not a bad candidate, a good candidate for the system we have, but instead we just say, to hell with her, she's crooked. This guy, I mean, we don't even know what the fuck he's paying in taxes. We don't know what kind of connections he has. We don't know how much he's worth. We don't know shit about him. But, oh, yes, we're going to go with him. I think I've ranted long enough. In fact, this is way longer than I thought it would be. That's what she said. So anyway, hopefully I'll have another video within the next 6 months. Anyway, this is Bad 5, and I'll see you guys next time.